How's it going, Eliminators? Today, I'm going to be showing you how to easily remove a plastic throttle lever handle off of some of these newer Powermore snowblower engines. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So today in the shop, I'm working on a Yardworks 24-inch snowblower here that has a Powermore 208cc engine on it. So this is a Powermore engine that is supplied specifically for MTD products. And this basically has a common issue whenever you need to work on it. There is a little red throttle lever that is incredibly difficult to remove. And today I'm going to be showing you a couple different methods for removing the throttle lever handle. Now this snowblower here is a 2016, so it's a fairly newer model. And from what I could see, there's been probably about 3 iterations of designs for the carburetor and fuel tank area. One of the designs on the Cub Cadets, and I'll show you a picture, is going to be a long fuel tank at the back, and then basically you have to remove that to then remove a lower cover, and that cover goes from the left side of the engine all the way over to the right side. Then they kind of updated that design and they made a little split in the plastic so that you didn't have to remove the whole cover. You would just have to remove this piece here. And then on the latest design, you have what we see in front of us, which is a one-piece cover, completely separated. The fuel tank as well is completely separate. And to remove this cover, there's 2 bolts located here. And then there's going to be another 2 bolts there, and then that cover comes right off. However, you do have to remove the choke knob as well as this throttle lever handle. I should note that on some of these cover designs, you may not have to remove it at all. So the one thing I wanted to show you guys is that cutout right there at the top of the plastic. Essentially, if you move the throttle linkage into the center position, you can remove that plastic cover without even having to remove that handle. Now, like I said, there have been different designs of these covers, and the reason why they ended up making that little cutout was to make it easier to remove that cover without having to remove that plastic throttle handle, because again, they can seize into place and it becomes incredibly difficult to remove them without damaging them. But with that being said, if you do have one of these covers without that little cutout in them, I'll show you a couple different methods for easily removing that handle. The first thing you want to do, get a rag and cover the handle. Now the tool that I like to use were these long 90-degree needle nose pliers. Basically, we're using the rag to prevent the jaws of the pliers from damaging the plastic lever handle, and then basically just grab a hold of the pliers, and I like to put my foot down here by the model number sticker, and then basically you're just going to give it a pull and it should come right off. Now, if you're using a pair of pliers like I did, you put your foot on the bottom of the snowblower, you're pushing with your foot and you're pulling with the pliers as hard as you can, and that lever handle still doesn't want to come off. I'll show you another trick. Get yourself a can of lubricant and go in and spray where the plastic handle attaches to the throttle lever. There's going to be a hole on the very top of it that will allow some of that penetrating oil to get under it, which will make removing that plastic handle even easier. Now, in the event that pliers and some penetrating oil is not enough to get that plastic handle off, I'll show you one more trick that will easily get it off 100% of the time. Now, a lot of you may not have this tool, but if you do, it's going to make removing that plastic handle so simple. This is a slide hammer. Basically, it's a long piece of metal with this large weight here that slides on the shaft, and you use this to create momentum and force. And when you slide this weight all the way back to this point here, it pulls and also shocks anything that end is attached to. But as great as slide hammers are, they're pretty much useless by themselves unless you can attach them to whatever it is that you're pulling and trying to remove. Now that's where this right here comes into play. So this is a standard pair of locking pliers, commonly referred to as vice grip. That's the brand name. And on this pair here, what we've done is welded a washer to the top of the locking pliers. Now you can see where I'm going with this. If we remove that nut and put the slide hammer through the washer and then thread the nut onto the shaft, we can then use the slide hammer with the locking pliers attached to whatever it is that we're trying to pull. Now you will notice that I do have some tape covering the jaws of the pliers. Once again, that's just to protect the plastic handle there from any damage, but you can probably see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to hook up the slide hammer and show you just how easily this removes that little handle. Okay, so I got the slide hammer hooked up. I'll go ahead and pull it, and it pops it right off. So not only does the slide hammer create enough pulling force on the locking pliers to pull that plastic handle off, but it also creates a shock, which is generally enough to break free pretty much anything that's seized. Slide hammers are awesome, but again, you need a way to connect them to different objects that you're trying to pull. And in this case, like I said, a washer welded to a pair of locking pliers works awesome. And then there is the little hole at the top that you would want to try to get your penetrating oil into. Generally, 9 times out of 10, it is enough to lubricate the inside of this plastic. Sometimes those levers can kind of seize to these. And like I said, you know, it's incredibly difficult to remove those sometimes, which is why I've had to, you know, pull out this thing. And I just wanted to show you guys a couple different methods for getting those handles off. However, when it comes time for reinstallation, a little bit of white lithium grease sprayed into the inside of that plastic handle will work wonders. You guys can see I use that to lubricate all sorts of pivot points on these machines, but basically you're going to be using a little bit of that white lithium grease to lubricate that so that the next time you have to remove this, if you don't have the cutout on your plastic cover, it'll be much easier. And then to install them, just press on them until you feel them lock into place. So it's not quite there yet. Now it's locked into place. However, because we used a little bit of lubricant, when it comes time to remove them, look how simple that thing comes off now. A little bit of white lithium grease, save you lots of time. So just a super cool tool that I wanted to share with you guys. I know that not everybody may have one. However, just doing some research online, Googling slide hammer pliers, these things can go for like $150. So if you can find a deal on a slide hammer, like I said, all you need is a pair of locking pliers. Go ahead and weld a washer to it like we have right there, and you now have a wicked tool that you can use pretty much anywhere. Well, that's going to wrap up today's video, but I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays as we wrap up our 2021 season. Lots of videos this year. Can't wait for next year. Got a lot of cool stuff planned, especially something that is going to be coming out hopefully in January, maybe February. Totally awesome technology that I'm going to be showing off on this channel that you've probably never seen before, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Also, I wanted to mention that we are approaching 50,000 subscribers. At this point, we need about 700 more subscribers to hit 50,000. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Would really appreciate it, and it would be cool if we could hit 50,000 by the end of the year. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, think about leaving me a thumbs up. You know, it really helps me out. You can click here to subscribe and click over here to watch one of my previous videos. I upload every single week, so be sure to stop on by next week, check channel out for new content. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.